thank you to Sandra for giving me this opportunity to share something that is so important in my view, which is becoming the best version of you. But first, I'm going to introduce myself. I'm blown away by the fact that I have 50 years experience in the health and well-being sector. And I know Wendy Garcars is on this call, and it's her fault that I found out, but it's just blown my mind. 30 of those years, I was in the NHS as a nurse and a health visitor. And then I left. We've been talking about burnout, so I've done that as well. And I did consultancy and training work with NHS organisations across the country. Then I retrained as a life coach and ran a coaching practice for 15 years. I did not, 5 years. And during that time, published my book, Journey to Chocolate, which I wrote really as a kind of self-coaching manual to help women get off their own personal hamster wheel, get off autopilot and start to find their purpose and what they really wanted to do with their lives. And I joined Arbonne, nearly 50, it'll be 15 years ago in July. And that's what I've been doing since, along with my brand, Unlikely Guru, Self-Care, Health and Wellbeing Mentor. So what I'm going to talk about is what I mean by personal development, why I believe it's important. And it does link to what goes on next, which is developing your own self-care, health and wellbeing plan. And I want to share the difference that I believe we can make if we can just prioritize ourselves. But I think we can make a huge difference in the world. And I'm going to talk about that as well. So these are two quotes that I heard recently, just from colleagues and friends. And I wanted to share them with you. The first is, you are your best asset. The second is that your business will only grow as healthy and vibrant as you are. And I want you to think about how much time, energy, and money you invest in your branding, your website, your product and service development, your systems and processes, all of the stuff that is involved in building a business. And I want you to compare with how much time, money, and energy you invest in your best asset, yourself. And I'm going to share a story about what happened to me and how I came to learn a very hard lesson. So I started my Arbonne business nearly 15 years ago, as I said. And I kept hearing people talking about personal development. And honestly, I ignored it because I was arrogant enough to think that I was a coach and I'd done all this training and I'd done personal development along with going through therapy and all kinds of other stuff I'd done over the years. At the time, I was still running a coaching practice and I just told myself I didn't have the time to do all of this stuff. But what I wasn't doing was didn't give it a priority. So what changed? 4 years into my business, I reached the dizzy heights of regional vice president. Now, that was a big thing. You got given money towards that car, that beautiful car with a bow in, that's my car. And you got jewelry and flowers and all sorts at different times of the year. And you got paid well as well, which was wonderful. I achieved it on the 31st of October 2015. And I thought I'd made it. My life had changed forever, or so I thought. But what happened was very different. My business stopped growing, and a year later, I had lost that rank. I was absolutely devastated, and my initial response was to quit. But as we all know, the only way to fail is to quit. But then my stubbornness, my grit kicked in. So I picked myself up, dusted myself down, and started all over again, as they say. And as I reflected, I knew something had to change. And I was reminded of this quote by Jim Rohn. For things to change, you have to change. For things to get better, you have to get better. For things to improve, you have to improve. And when you grow, everything in your life grows with you. I had not grown enough to remain at that level of success. I had to get to work on me. I had to prioritize my personal development. I'm going to share some of what I do now and what I've been doing for the last 10 years. And I invite you to create your own daily habits of investing in you if you haven't already. But when I talk about personal development, I'd actually replace that phrase with self-care, health, and well-being. Because the most successful people incorporate all of this into their already busy lives. And if we want to be truly successful, whatever that means for you, we must find a way to do it too. And I started small. I decided to start reading a personal development, leadership, or business book every day. I'd started to do what I saw my more successful colleagues do and realized that if I was going to reach that level again and make it sustainable, I had to do what they did. Then I realized I was going to have to look at my physical health and fitness. I've always loved walking, and I knew that would be good for me. We know it's good for our physical and mental well-being. But again, I was reluctant to give myself the time. So I started very small. I just went for a 10-minute fast walk round the block every day, and that's progressed up to an hour now. And I also do daily Pilates, and I go to see a personal trainer every week. But what is really important about exercise, if you bring that into your life, is that you like what you do, because if you like what you do, you'll do it and it becomes easy. And I looked at my diet and gut health, and judging by that picture in the previous slide, I think I needed to. I eat much cleaner now. I take supplements to help my body do what it has become less capable of doing as it ages, along with protein to support my muscles, which are fast depleting. I began to see that transformation in myself. So I created the transformation framework so I could help others too. We'll come back to that in a bit, and sadly, I haven't really got time to go into it in any detail today. The next thing I heard about, and you may have heard about it too, was The Miracle Morning, devised by Hal Elrod. And I highly recommend his book because his routines have been game-changing for me. I was reluctant at first because I kept hearing people saying they were getting up at 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning to do that. And there was no way on God's earth I was getting up at 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning to do it. However, I was going to find a way that I could do it and fit it into my life. But let me explain a bit about it. So the S is for silence. So that can be meditation. It can that kind of thing. A is affirmations, speaking your beliefs out loud, visualizing what you want in your life, your exercise, your reading, and scribing, journaling, whatever that is for you. This incorporated everything that I was looking for. And I found that if I do this in the morning before I get going on my daily work, that however I feel when I wake up, by the time I've done this, I'm feeling good because my scribing is gratitude, and I find writing gratitude is just so, so important. I do my exercise and my reading in the middle of the day, so I've just made it work for me. So I would love it if you use some of these ideas to create your own self-care, health, and well-being plan. And I've also listed here some of my transformation framework and some of the ideas that you might get from just looking there. Give yourself time to think, reflect on what you're already doing, and get yourself with some routine every day. Invest in yourself. But start small. Do what I do and start small because that's the only way you're going to get it going. So why do I believe this is so important? Because what I see happening is this. We decide somewhere along the line to jump off the corporate hamster wheel and create a better life for ourselves and our family. And we're passionate about what we do, and we work longer and longer hours, and unknowingly we find ourselves back on the hamster wheel. Ladies, this isn't sustainable. There's still a risk of burning out, and then what? We owe it to ourselves, our families, our businesses, and the people we serve. And actually, we owe it to the world. Because if you burn out, your talent and your passion is lost to the world, and the world needs it. I 100% believe that we can change the world for the better. We can choose to vibrate with love and gratitude if we invest in ourselves, but we cannot give from an empty cup. When I started writing this about a few weeks ago, I wrote, I may not be the best album consultant. I may not get back to region, but what I will be is visible. I'll come back to that in a minute. But what I've also done is invest in myself, in some coaching. My thinking has changed to the point that getting back to that level has become inevitable. And I'm intending it to happen this year. But we need to be visible. I will be showing up as the best version of me, calling us all forth to be the best version of ourselves so we can make a difference in this troubled world. And actually, I want to earn enough money for our holidays. If I can leave this world in a better place, because I have helped women prioritize their self-care, health, and well-being, it will be a life well lived. So please take away this. You are your best asset, and your business will only grow as much as you do. We all need some kind of personal development, aka self-care, health, and well-being strategy. And that journey is never ending. I'm 76 in about 3 weeks' time, still going on that journey. So please, thank you for listening and let's connect. Those are my social media connections. The third one is my Unlikely Guru Facebook group, which now has over 2,000 members. And you can download my free self-care guide through that QR code. So thanks very much. Enjoy the rest of your day and please, please, please take care of you. Thank you. It's all gone quiet.
It would help if I put my sound on, wouldn't it? I was
It
saying, if
would.
you had any questions, pop them into the chat box and we will ask them to Anne. They've just asked for the last slide again. If you could share the last slide again with your QR code on it, please, Anne.
Will
Um,
do.
that would be
Just
helpful.
just bear with me while I do.
That's okay. And I just want to say something while you're doing that. Um, it actually, you said you're 76 this year. You actually went viral, and I always bring this up, but I think it's something to mention. Through your self-care, through your and weekly PT classes, your PT shared something on what was X, Twitter at the time, it's X now.
Instagram.
Was it
Instagram it
Instagram?
was.
Okay. And you've not only been featured there and gone viral, but you've gone viral in Metro multiple times. So, similar to what I said to Sue earlier, why not retire when you left the NHS? Why not just put your feet up and say, well, that's it, I'm done, I've done my bit.
Because I can't think of anything more boring,
I love it. Love
to be
it.
honest. Um, yeah, I think I mean Sue alluded to it. You just carry on doing it because you love what you do, right, Sue? I think why stop? I mean, people ask me, my younger sister said, "Isn't it about time you retired?" I don't know what I'd do, Sandra, honestly. And I just love being with the younger community all the time. All you guys help keep me young.
Yeah.
It's just wonderful. I'm privileged to be able to still be working and be healthy.
Yeah, and I think, we've talked about this a lot, Anne, ikigai, living your purpose every day, and you'll never work another day in your life, and it aids longevity as well. I'm a huge advocate for ikigai, um, but you are living your purpose every
Yeah,
single day, and
absolutely.
and you don't look 76 this year as well.
I'm
Uh,
beginning to feel it a bit at the moment, but we'll get better.
We've got a question here from Tejal. I started Miracle Morning a while ago. I find keeping the momentum with it difficult. How do I keep going with it?
I would just you don't have to do it all. Just do bits. Do a small amount. That way you'll keep going. Just don't ask too much for yourself. Anything's better than nothing.
Any more questions for Anne? Drop them into the chat box. What do you love doing the most, Anne? What is the sort of sweet spot for what you do day to day? What the bit that, because I know you run a podcast, you've got your Arbonne, you do a lot of with the Unlikely Guru. What's the bit that you love the most?
Connection with like-minded women, just having conversations. I do that all day. If I think if I ever think about retirement, I know that I would carry on doing that, so I might as well carry on working, really.
Isn't that great? We just get up and have connections and
It's
conversations, and that's
wonderful.
business. Yeah, yeah. Sharon asked, "What's your biggest takeaway of wisdom as we age?" Sharon is 52. What should she most be aware of for health as she ages?
Oh, that's a difficult question. It's a holistic thing. It's what I think it's actually what goes on in here. If you can see me pointing at my head, it's your mindset because you can think yourself old. If I thought in detail about the number that I'm reaching, I would think little old lady with slippers on. So I don't think about it. I think about how I am, how I feel.
But
So
I
yeah,
think
mindset.
I think 70 is the new 40. I remember standing at the school gate and looking at my mum and all the other mums, and they seemed old, they seemed ancient, but they dressed ancient, they acted ancient, and most of them were housewives. And I
Mm.
think the fact that we have so many women in business right now who just love that connection piece, they love the conversations, they love just getting out of bed every day and living their passion. I think that is the secret. I think that is the secret to doing what you love every day.
Yeah, agreed.
70 is the new 40. I love this. I try and tell my mum that all the time. Right, your thoughts lead your body. Interesting.
I'm going to stop
Um,
sharing.
yeah, and I think, and we've got Wendy on the call as well, and she will no doubt support this with her retirement movement. But, why should women retire? Why should we slow down? Why should we stop doing it just because we're told to? I'd like to thank you, Anne, for an amazing presentation there, for just giving us really some insight into what you do and your journey, but also reminding us of the importance of that self-care, looking after ourselves. As I said earlier, putting ourselves in the number one position. It's not selfish, it's something everyone should be doing. Thank you, Anne.